Everybody, welcome to the August 27th edition of the Arkansas Diamond Report. I'm Jason Patterson. I want to thank you all for joining today. Make sure to hit the like and subscribe button there on the bottom right-hand corner. That little subscribe floating button there, and catch all of our content as it comes up live. Also on the hogville.net site. Follow all the forums where you can get all the up-to-date recruiting news from Dudley for women's basketball, softball, baseball, pretty much anything else you can set your mind to. Also, you can follow the podcast, which will be popping up on the main page after we're done this afternoon. So let's bring them back on. Let's bring them on. Dudley, man, how's it going?
It's going good. The football game week, and then by this time next Tuesday, I guess I'll be at Von Marker Stadium probably watching the scrimmage as fall baseball gets underway.
So, I want to dive right into that because you and I were talking a little bit about that. You were able to touch base with Oliver a little bit, and there's been some information come out a little bit. Arkansas is going to start fall ball on September 3rd. And what is the line as far as what fans can come see? What's their availability so far?
Well, Coach Van Horn's been really good about that. When they've had a scrimmage, it's usually been open to the public. I can think of only a few times that it wasn't, but he realizes that it's not like a football where you're reporting on injuries and all that stuff, and it gets kind of a little hairy. So I'm sure as soon as we get a detailed look at things, then we'll get that out there. But I'm anxious to see the 3 new transfer pitchers from the portal, 5 new outfielders, some guys around the diamond. Ended up being 31 total newcomers coming in with high school players, junior college players, and then portal additions. And obviously you had 5 guys transfer out of the program, 3 of them which really didn't really play a lot. The others 2 solid writing on the wall with them bringing in all these speedsters / power guys in the outfield. And so, it worked itself out as it usually does, as Coach Richardson always talked about the numbers when he was signing folks.
Yep. And I want to thank everybody for jumping on today. Also, if you guys read the crawl, I know there's a lot of stuff down there as far as, we're going to talk about baseball. We're going to talk about women's basketball. We're going to be talking about football as well today. So make sure, if you guys want to, throw them up. Topics of the day. Give us your thoughts, good, bad, ugly, for that matter, and we'll answer those live as they come in. Make sure to identify yourself too, so that way we know we're giving credit to the right people. I mean, it's your question, so we want to make sure that we're getting it right. So anything that you guys want to talk about, we'll also talk about too as well. So I know that Coach Van Horn kind of alluded to a cool place to play in October. Has he elaborated on that any that you know of?
Yes, that is now off the books. They were going to have 2 games in Omaha, Nebraska at the stadium that he wants to end the season at, but that fell through, so they're not going to do that. He did say that they're kind of taking a look at playing some scrimmage games or exhibition games, however you want to put it, against some teams around here, just to have a different look from what they will see during the fall ball. As we said, September 3rd, next Tuesday, is the first scrimmage, it looks like. At least that's the designated time that fall ball will start. And, you're going to have the chance to look at a lot of these new guys. Kendall Diggs obviously had surgery, won't be ready to go during that time. But, the fact that he's coming back and going to be healthy and not playing through pain should really help Arkansas. But I'm sure that, the fans are like me, and they're anxious to see these guys. I've reported on them. I've watched video on them. I've gone to see games, but it's a whole different level once you step up here. That's why the turnover, that and the transfer portal is why the turnover is so big up here. And you had a lot of guys last year that you thought might contribute and didn't do that. Guys that you didn't know would and were able to. But, I think when you have guys like Kendall Diggs and Will McIntyre coming back and Via Loy, who now has his brother along the way, should be a pretty loaded lineup. And you see these early projections from guys who know baseball well, like Kendall Rogers and others, and they feel like Arkansas is a top 8 team. We all know they've got to stay healthy, and they've got to get, they got to be pushing and playing their best baseball at the end of the year, not crashing and burning as happened last year.
Do you think that Nate Thompson might make a little bit of a different approach with the plate appearances, kind of versus what we've seen the last year or two, where I feel like there's been a huge takeoff and then there's been a letdown towards the end of the season. But then you have guys like Nolan Souza was productive in California. You had Villalobos that was productive up in the Cape League with, also saw
Ryder
Helfrich had a great season up there too. I'm not trying to say that he was it. I'm trying to say, is there something that Nate might have taken from what they did in Cape and tried to implement it here to see if maybe just a little bit of a tweak might help a little bit more?
Well, I think that he talked to them, and Coach Van Horn had talked to them about doing some different things while they were up there. I mean, you want to go up and you want to win every ball game you're in, but really the Cape Cod and all the other leagues are developmental leagues. There were a lot of Arkansas players that went out and got plenty of at-bats that didn't get reps during the season. And they were able to do that this summer. A lot of them came through with flying colors. And what I do think is they made sure with this portal class and with the recruiting class that they were going to go out and get some more versatile people that could both hit for power, run, and they want to, obviously everybody wants them to cut down on the strikeouts. If you put the ball in play, good things are usually going to happen. That was not the case for a lot of times last year. You had some guys that were elite hitters in junior college and elite hitters in high school, but weren't able to come through. And, when you look at things, it's so important. This fall ball is so important to go on top of the summer ball because there's a lot of guys, and we saw several of them that transferred away that didn't get playing time during the year. There are a lot of guys who proved themselves during fall ball, were given a shot to play during the season, and others who were on the cusp there, the line, did not get the opportunity. Fall ball is a proving ground for this coaching staff.
It is. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the Caribbean League, the Puerto Rican League during the winter, where guys that, like I said, didn't get a lot of time on the field, have a lot of having a lot of opportunities to go down there and come back to spring training and, have a little bit of a shot, maybe to get invited, maybe make that, the rotation in the roster. But it's really, like you said, it's really important. But are there any names that you think that you might see that might shine that maybe a lot of folks don't have on the radar? Because I know that there's a lot of new faces. You said 31, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm.
And we're going to have to use the name with the face and to put everything together with with this roster. But are there some?
The best thing Oliver does at start fall ball is gives us a roster with numbers because it is you don't recognize them you off the street, as they say. But yeah, it's if you look at the guys that they have coming in, we've talked about the pitchers. Obviously, 3 guys that they. That again, the so-called college baseball experts think all could be drafted in the top 5 rounds next year. And they're guys that had pretty good seasons last year, except obviously the Oregon State kid who got hurt before the season, Adrian Garcia, and wasn't able to pitch last year. But, there's just so many hitters. Those junior college kids, each one of those junior college kids tore it up in if I'm picking one guy, Brent Irondale hit 75 home runs in his junior college career. They expect him to be a power bat at third, designated hitter somewhere. I think he's a guy. In the outfielders, you've got guys that can just fly around the field. There's not going to be, or at least I don't think there's going to be, I should say that. I shouldn't make a definitive statement, so you're make a fool out of myself. I think there's going to be guys that are going to be able to fly around make good defensive plays, cover more of the outfielder than they did last year. And I do think that in going through fall ball, they will be able to differentiate who can help them early on, and you'll have more of a, kind of a determined starting lineup instead of having to mix and match with metrics so much. You're going to have players that have proven a lot more than the guys that came in here last year. And as you look back on it, it looked like a good haul, but not a lot of those were able to put up the numbers like Villalobos was and some of the others.
Yep. You mentioned Major League for just a second. I want to talk about it too. You had Peyton Stovall that had his first hit this week as a major leaguer.
Tripled in his first at bat in his first minor league at bat. Did not had a triple here at Arkansas. It's always home runs, doubles, singles, whatever. But that's kind of ironic. I think as of Sunday he was hitting 286 and was fitting in well there at second base. And then, obviously Hagen Smith, last season's dominant college pitcher, went 3 innings, fanned 4, gave up 2 hits in the third inning, but stranded them, and he's well on his way with one of their other prospects to being their 1 and 2 guys, probably in 2 or 3 years. Now he's going to be up before then, but they really feel like they have a couple of guys that are going to be at the top of their rotation. And as we look with Garrett Crochet, he's had a good year, but he's been on an innings limit here lately. Eric Petty was sent to the Cardinals in a trade deadline deal. There's the opportunity for them to jump up there. Now it's not maybe the best organization to go to at the moment with already having 100 losses, but it is the opportunity that you can go with, rebuild, and be able to get time early on.
Yeah, and at that point, White Sox are looking for a new manager. I mean, that was old news. That's really kind of old news. But is there a possibility that this? I feel like with teams at the bottom of the barrel, really kind of have their major league roster is more like a shuttle, and it's back and forth. They got guys coming in and out all the time. And do you think that there might be a chance where they just may say, hey, you know what, we're going to throw Hagen maybe up in AAA, see what happens. If it maybe pans out, maybe bring him on, in spring next year.
Yeah, it could be AA instead of AAA. AAA has kind of become something that a lot of guys jump over. They may do the same thing as Pittsburgh did with Paul Skeens this year, jump him up levels for a couple of starts. But I don't think he's going to. People talk about him starting the season, and he certainly might be good enough to do that. But they'll play 19 games and get that extra year of arbitration. They say they're not doing that anymore, but we know it's the case. They're seasoning him, and it just happens to take 19 games or whatever to get that. But it's the business of baseball. Yeah, it's the business of baseball. Maybe the White Sox can get good while he's there, or maybe he'll get traded to another organization. For one of these free agent hauls that a lot of teams get the opportunity to. It seems to be Soto goes somewhere every year. So.
And you kind of alluded right to my next point I was going to make too with trades. Today, we saw Danny Jansen. He made major sports history in Major League Baseball today, playing for 2 different teams on the same day. I'm not kidding you this. And Dudley, I sent this to you right when I saw this, and it completely blew my mind. He played for the Blue Jays. He was traded. And then they picked up another game, and then he was playing for the Red Sox. If I'm not mistaken.
The important thing to talk about there is he started the game in one uniform. It was rain delayed or suspended. Before they got the rescheduled finish of the game back on the calendar and schedule, he was traded. And so he ended up, and they knew what they were doing. The Ohio Sports Bureau and all those keep up with it. They knew what they were doing. He had he had to be pinch hit for on the other team because he was catching when the game was suspended. And after he was pinch hit for in the half inning, he was able to play in the second inning, enter the game for the other team. That's nuts. It's weird that it hadn't been done before, but I guess that's is a weather delay thing. The one thing that was interesting to me, I've seen guys and seen tape of guys who have played in an afternoon game, got traded and played in a night game with another team. And they was going from a losing team to a winning team, but never
went backwards.
That had come up. Yeah. So, congratulations to him. He's now a footnote in baseball history. And in those little tidbits in the paper and online, you'll see from now Danny Jansen played in for both teams in a single game.
I think that's something that you could really put in Cooperstown because it's so unique. It's interesting.
Sure the scorecard's going in there for sure.
Oh yeah, I would. I put the scorecard. I would put both of the jerseys in there. I would. Oh my gosh, I'm telling you, they have a golden opportunity.
I would visit and take a picture of myself with it.
Yeah, that would be fun. That would be a lot of fun. So let's kind of turn the page here a little bit. Let's talk about Coach Neighbors and what he has got previewing coming up here in October. There's been a lot of shuffle. There hasn't been a lot of talk. There hasn't been a lot of hubbub about the women's basketball team. That's been positive. During the offseason, there was a lot of negativity, and Mike and his staff, they put their nose down. They just went to work, and you might have a pretty good squad whenever it comes time to take the floor.
Yeah, much like Coach Pittman and the talk about his job and them needing to have a good year, Coach Neighbors realizes that the 2 NCAA tournaments in 7 years is not something that they want to hear. They want more of that. Last year's team kind of dropped the ball literally toward the end of the year. Clearly, we had a lot of, just like with football last year, we had a lot of, I don't know if I want to use the word infighting, but the chemistry wasn't great. And, whether it was players, coaches, whatever, it just didn't work out very well. And you had a host of people transfer, and certainly wish all of them well at their new spots. We'll see some of them playing in the SEC for sure. But I will give him credit, and I really believe he feels this. He's not just saying it, for quote purposes, but he's having a lot of fun this year. And he's got a whole new group with just few returners, 4 or so returners. They're teaching a lot of different things. He's back to coaching again, maybe instead of managing talent, managing personalities. I don't know whether they're going to be any good or not, but they certainly filled some voids. The starting 5 could be Izzy Higginbottom and anybody else. Because lots of new players. I think upwards of 10 players there. Obviously, 6 different countries. It's going to be interesting to watch. I'll learn more probably in the preseason for the women than you will the men, because I know most of the guys from having seen them play in other places or been recruiting, but I didn't get a chance to go to the Croatia under 17 tournament and all that stuff that Coach he's putting up some big time mileage miles and doing that, and that's one thing that this could pan out for him. It is one way to go about things. It wasn't working the other way. They've always had real good contacts with international players and international coaches. And so here is an experiment we're about to see.
Yeah, and we've talked about this too. You felt like he was coaching for talent, or he was trying to bring in talent last year that may have been the biggest splash on the court. This year he's got talent to the system that he's running. And whenever you have a coach that is in the position, say for instance, what Mike is in and what Sam is in, you have one of two different ways that you can go about this. One, pressure is all on you. It shows on your face every moment that you take a question, you're out in front of the cameras, and you see that it's living on your shoulder every minute of the day. Or you have the guys that are out there that are going to say, you know what, I'm going to do my best. If it's not the best, then they'll move on, and I'm fine with that. I gave it my all, and they go out there and they just try to make the best of it and have fun. I feel like that's what you're saying. That's what Mike and Sam have both kind of taken the approach of, is I'm going to do my best. Let's see what happens. If it doesn't, I get it. We'll move on.
Yeah, I mean, you could say there's pressure, but I don't know that it's the inherent pressure. I think it's you're going to go out and you've done all you can recruiting. Now you got to coach them up. Now you got to see what happens. If it doesn't work out, then I'm sure that he'll find another place to coach. I'm not saying that's going to be the case for certain, but I also am honest enough to admit that it's got to be a good year. Or the headhunters are already going to be out if football goes loses at Oklahoma State. I have no doubt about that. And the narratives will be said, and positivity or negativity can spread around to all different sports. And the fact that the baseball team didn't finish off the way it wanted to last year, the football team, as we know, went 4-8 and had all these chemistry issues among coaches, players, whatever. People are going to be looking for any little thing. I have personal conversations with Mike neighbors. I have professional ones with coach neighbors, and I make a differentiation there. If you're a coach, you get my respect. I call you coach. It's just kind of thing I've done over these 4 years and stuff. But I do believe he's being honest with me in the fact that he really is, feeling like has the opportunity to do something. I'm not going to say special, but do something fun and have the opportunity to maybe get away from last season. As I told him, you didn't smile very much at all last year, and apparently there wasn't a lot to smile about both off the court and on the court. We'll see. I wish him well. There are very few coaches in the 43 years that I've been up here that I've dealt with that I just didn't like, period. I'd say maybe 10 total of all coaches at different sports. And those were usually personality things or whatever. But you wish these guys well. But again, you're honest enough, especially as I've gotten older and, gotten the you kids get out of my yard mentality. I'll say whatever's on my mind. And what's on my mind this year is the football coach and the women's basketball coach both have to put up good years together. And, the problem with having excellence and great years is you got to continue to feed that monster. And if you don't, they come for you. And these SEC jobs, there are a lot of people will take these SEC jobs if offered.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it doesn't matter if you've won 6 games or 60 games or whatever that might be. Yeah, you got folks that are lined up that have that resume in their agent's hand and ready to go with that. So,
yeah, the wife at the Patronite have just gotten into watching House of Dragons. We're kind of late to the party on that, and have been catching up on that. You got to feed those dragons, man. You got to feed those dragons, or they'll set you on fire. And that's they call it a hot seat for a reason.
They do. Hey, one of my shows came out with a new season, Only Murders in the Building. God,
yes. Don't tell me what happened today. Wait, don't tell me what happened. We're going to watch it here later tonight.
Same here because I got to.
Yeah.
Same here because I got to write the rest of my prediction column that Otis is going to post for tomorrow because I'm going to start writing the post or the pick'em column, and after
we'll
I get
we'll
that,
have that. Yeah, we'll have that up tomorrow. We'll also have my preview of Coach Alonzo Hampton and UAPB. He was on the SWAC conference call today. A lot of interesting things. Again, he's a guy that I've known for a long, long time. He was a high school coach here at the state. Obviously, he played at Warren, was a high school coach here at the state. He's back after being at UAPB as an assistant. He's been all over the place, a lot of places with Willie Taggart, who has been a coaching star in a lot of places. And he gets it. He started out with 80. Arkansas's got 85 scholarship players. He's got 63. He realizes the challenge that it is. But he gave good quotes. He's talking the way you want to hear your head coach talk.
Yeah.
He fully realizes that his fans expect them to score 100 and shut Arkansas out. But he also knows that's not realistic.
I was going to say, because if I'm not mistaken, earlier or over the weekend, there was a article came out that him and a couple of players put some bulletin board material up for Arkansas. I mean, I don't think that they needed any, but
yeah, it wasn't really a coach. It was one of their wide receivers who said that Arkansas secondary was slow and old or something. I mean, I figured he might have been talking about the media. We got a lot of slow and old folks.
Yeah.
But you just throw that out there. You got beat 45-3 last time you played each other. The other time you played each other, 2021. I don't know if I got on there, but having confidence is great. If you have confidence at 17, you're cocky. If you have confidence at 40, you get married to the lady who left you when you were cocky.
It was Xavier, and I saw that cat coming across the middle. I think I just put one on him just for like purposes, just because, hey, I want you to know that I'm in the neighborhood. This is Mr. Story's neighborhood. And, oh, by the way, you don't talk that kind of crap about my secondary. I think that could happen.
Yeah, it's going to happen. Coach Pittman was saying that he did not really going to bring it up, and you should be ready to play and all that. But I guarantee you that if you have any pride, if you just put a target on your back, you just put a target on your back. So,
and Arkansas is a 52.5-point favorite. That's off the Bet Saracen app, and that. I do believe that's also on the MGM Grand Sportsbook as well. I think it's pretty much across the board. If Arkansas comes out and they're a little flat, they don't
as they did against Western Carolina.
Yep. Again, Western Carolina also happened with Kent State last year. Took them a little bit to get going against BYU, and there's going to be the detractors that are ready to jump on the fire Sam Pittman bandwagon 30 seconds into this game, because if it doesn't go the exact way that they want them to, you're going to hear about it on social media. I mean, that might be the end of the first quarter, and we can look at Twitter and be lighting it up.
Yeah. Let's be honest though. If they had 60-0 halftime, something will happen. There'll be a contingent of the fan base who just has made its mind up that it's going to be upset one way. I don't think it's going to be 60-0 halftime, but I also think I've been doing this a long time, been around a lot of different teams. You can tell when a team doesn't like each other. You can tell when a team does like each other. This team likes each other.
Yeah.
Will they be able to play against the SEC schedule and hold up? That I'm not sure of, but they should be able to go out and look good in this first game when the other head coach, assesses the situation the way that Coach Hampton has. He's trying to rebuild that program. 2-9 last year, 22.4 quarters against Texas Southern, was able to give them a road victory down in Houston last year, and they were able to have some fun off of that, and it kind of vaulted into this next year. There are 50 new players playing that will be on the roster for UAPB. 38 for Arkansas. That's 88 new players that will be in a game. Yeah, and it's just like I was telling Phil Nelson earlier today and Matt Jones. Look, man, how do you can guess, but prediction and being a knowledgeable one, you just can't do it these days with the thing. You can look at the schedule and you can say, well, really you're basing it off of last year and the vibes that are coming from that. Yep.
So I want to go over this because I've been trying to implement this a little bit, and there's a reason for this as well. It's a multi-layered thing. So we got the 2-minute warning, and it's just last couple minutes of the show. The reason why I bring it up is that we saw Georgia Tech work the 2-minute warning to perfection. Now, I know college football wants to be a little different. They want to call the 2-minute timeout. And I know that the Chuck and Bo show talked a little bit about this morning, but the reason why I wanted to bring this up is because we've been running this for a couple of weeks now. And the reason why I want to bring it up is because college coaches are having to adjust their game plan to the final 2 minutes the way that professional coaches do. And we saw Georgia Tech work that to perfection. Mike Norvell, you looked at, you saw he had nothing else he could do about it. Stop the guys on on offense, get the ball back. But the thing is that Georgia Tech ran that to perfection, and I think that you're going to start to see some ball games wrap up a hell of a lot faster than what they were before. And I think that was the whole gist of it in the first place.
Yeah, and I kind of compare this a little bit to Coach Petrino and his system he had here when he was head coach, and now it would be his offensive system. He's back as the offensive coordinator. You wanted to be able to run the football and run the clock, and maybe 4 or 5 minutes back then. And that's Georgia Tech was able to win the football game. I'm not sure Georgia Tech has more talent than Florida State. I don't think they do.
Yeah.
I'm not sure they have, but I do think if Georgia came in with great game play, ran football, always, 7-on-7 is great, pass happy and all that. I haven't got the new under legendary Bill Keith where we balance offense. We run it 58 times or 57 times, and then we throw 3 times, one to the left, one to the right, one over the middle. And it was winning the trench, and that's what happened Saturday. Yep. Is there's better talent on one side of the field, but there was a game plan and a dominant running game. And I know Georgia led ACC in rushing last year. They just did what they wanted when they wanted. Now they almost messed it up with the penalty and bad snap, but go kickers. You love them. You love them when they make them. You hate them. They don't. By the way, I took Cam Little in one of my fantasy football teams.
That's a pretty solid play, by the way.
I'll be honest with you. Brandon Aubrey had already been taken, so
okay.
And Justin Tucker had been taken, so but.
Plan C, got Plan C.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I'm telling you. I think that if Georgia Tech lines it up against Florida State at a home over here, I think we might have a different outcome. But at the same time, top 10 teams you expect to finish or start fast. And Florida State didn't start fast. Now, I kind of wonder if they might be one of those couple of teams in the preseason top 25, as you can see in the scroll there going across, that they may be one of those teams that may take a tumble and then be re-entered back into the top 25 towards the end of the season.
Well, DJU, I won't even try to pronounce his last name.
Ungalele.
Yeah, easy for you to say. But he's had some great times, but he's never been consistent in any place he's been at. It's bouncing around, with the portal. When I think maybe it was you that sent me a text or put up there that the dude from Finley, TJ Finley, is now in his 6th year and starting for a 3rd or 4th different team, and it's going to be against Alabama or something like that. You really need a scorecard these days. But what I was going to go back to is if you're Florida State and you spent all summer griping about how you didn't get in the playoffs. That was your narrative of your fans. That was the narrative of your coaches. That was the narrative of your players. You did not look and respect Georgia Tech enough, and that's what lost you the football game. If they played again later this year, Florida State may and probably would win. But that's not how it works. You line up, as Coach Alonzo Hampton from UAPB said, you line up, they put the ball down, you go man on man, and whatever happens.
Yep. And yeah, because with TJ, what's so interesting is that he goes from LSU to, I think, Community College, Texas State, and then to Alabama A&M is where he's at now. And
but he was Auburn. He was at Auburn there too.
Oh, Auburn. Auburn as well.
Auburn, yeah.
Golly, I'm telling you that this transfer portal.
Lee Hornsby, wide receiver at Arkansas State now, by the way.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
After being at Texas, yep. He was with them this spring, and he looked like he had a pretty good spring. And I know Coach Jones is excited about him over there. And it's it's interesting. The four Division I schools in this state are playing each other this week. Yeah. Arkansas and UAPB, then Arkansas State and UCA are playing each other on Saturday in Jonesboro. And I saw that all-time history is 13-12. With I think ASU has the edge 13-12. Maybe it was UCA has the edge 13-12, but Arkansas State's won the last two. That should be an entertaining game. It will be one of the many that we will have on the mini screens up here, at the Dawson household on Saturday.
And that's what's great about, and I know that a lot of fans are probably not going to turn out for this game against UAPB. It's a holiday weekend. I know
10,000 tickets left unsold, from what I understand.
And I know that a lot of folks might not want to travel down to Little Rock, take an extra day off for the long weekend. You can watch the game at the comfort of your home. It sit in your your lounge or whatever it is, and have all your snacks you want. But you need the fans out there. I know that there's a great opportunity for folks in Central Arkansas that yell about, we're not going to get any more games down here. This is their opportunity to also go down there and fill that stadium up and see Arkansas go out against another school in the state. And this is just kind of a precursor for Arkansas State next year. And this is where I think that you're going to start you want to see that build up where the central part of the state can represent a little bit. But whenever you got the university knocking $7 off of a ticket to entice folks to come in, I mean, it just doesn't sit well.
Yeah, and I grew up in Northeast Arkansas and went to a lot of games with at World Memorial Stadium. It was a great atmosphere. It was a better stadium. There was more passion back there during that time. It's not the way it is now. I'm not taking a side on one or the other, whether they should play Little Rock, although I think you're missing the opportunity if you don't go pack it this weekend, because you're just giving them the option of bringing them all up here. You look at next year's schedule, they open up here in Fayetteville, and then the Little Rock game is the second game, and that's going to be Arkansas State. I have a hard time believing that one won't be sold out, but it may be done if Razorback fans don't come out in Little Rock. It may be dominated by Arkansas State. Almost said Indians, but it's Red Wolves. Having plenty of tickets, and I'm looking forward to that. Again, I grew up in Northeast Arkansas. I love to see college teams, Arkansas play each other back then. I realized the whole philosophy of not doing it, but I think we're past that now, and I'm looking forward to Thursday's game, mostly because it's the season opener, and certainly looking forward to next year's game. And as I said, I'll be watching Arkansas State and UCA as well on one of the three TVs we'll have going here.
And that's what's great about the Thursday games as well, is that we have the opportunity to watch all the things that we want and not have to, do the whole travel, go up to the stadium, do the whole, pregame, during game, post game, all that stuff. We have the opportunity to go ahead, sit back, and this will be one of 3 weeks this week, and then a week in October, and then a week in November, where we have the opportunity to kind of sit back and watch some Saturday games. And I think that that's what not only fans, but I think some of the media is going to be able to, enjoy as well.
Yeah, I enjoyed last Saturday. I was even watching Tarleton State and McNeese. Every game that was on, I watched from start to finish. Was happy that Rhett Lashley and his team was able to come back and win. He's a good dude from up here, and obviously was a Razorback at one point. And probably will be a candidate if the job does open up and he has a good season. Probably will be a candidate up here.
Yep. And I honestly was a little salty when I was watching that Nevada SMU game. Did you see what the temperature was at the stadium? 49 degrees. They got guys up in there wearing jackets and jeans. I'm sitting there thinking, we're roasting and it's 90 degrees here. I'm gonna move to Reno, man. If I can ever swing that, man, I'm out of here.
Hey, the New Mexico game had a lot of wind as well. It was not the hot weather that a lot of people was expecting at many of these games. Of course, it was warmer than normal over in Ireland, but that still wasn't hot.
I was gonna say a warm day in Ireland is probably a great day here anyway. So, all right, well, Dudley, man, let's get you out of here. And tomorrow night, live 7:00 at Torchy's Tacos. It'll be the Arkansas Football Report with Otis Kirk. I'll be up there. We got some guests, Dudley. We got Marshall Foreman. He's going to come on. We're going to talk about our new show, the Arkansas pregame show that's going to be live in Fayetteville for every Arkansas home game and at Fayetteville. Also, we got former Arkansas running back Traylon Smith that's going to join the show as well. So we're excited about that. And you never know. May have a couple of people drop in on camera and just say, hey, for just a moment. So, and we'll have a little bit of a giveaway. I'm going to tease it. We're going to have a giveaway. We're going to do a question, an Arkansas football question. And then there's going to be a gift certificate to Torchy's Tacos that will be given away. So be sure to tune in tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. You can watch it live on YouTube. Follow the link. You can find that link on YouTube. You can find the link on Twitter, Facebook, and also the hogville.net website. So be sure to check out any of that and jump on.
And if you need anything else to get you ready for football season, obviously Greg Thomas, No Doubting Thomas' book came out a couple years ago. I'm listening to it again this week with Greg Jackson as the narrator. It's great to revisit some great Arkansas wins, and it talks a lot, as you know, about things that weren't great here and some things that were, and it's just a very interesting read. So I encourage people to either, if you don't have the book, go get it. If you do, you listen. Let Greg Jackson read it to you. Between him and listening to Lisa Cornwell's book over again, it's been a good August.
Man, I'm gonna have to pick that one. I was also Alice Landrum is a Nobel laureate prize writer, and she just passed away a few months ago. And my daughter actually was the one who kind of implored me to kind of check her out a little bit. And I'm going to tell you what, she had great work. She was short stories. And so that was one of the things that because my squirreled off ADD can't sit there for a 300, 400 page book. If you got a solid 4 or 5 pages, man, I'm your guy. But so anyway, we're going to get wrap this up. Dudley will get you out of here, and y'all take care. We'll see you tomorrow night, 7 p.m. live at Torchy's here on hogville.net, and go Hogs.